she was in it for 10 years. So she's not a born-in, so she doesn't understand some of the things that I've gone through. But she kind of feels like she was stupid for having gone in and then wasted 10 years of her life.
It is a feeling of
and she's like, she wants to kick herself in the ass because, like, why did I waste 10 years of my life? She's trying to get her life back, so we're both trying to get our lives back.
And I found out eventually that
in the case of my mother, they came along at a time in her life where she was in an unhappy marriage with an alcoholic husband, and they gave her, she couldn't leave that, but they gave her a wonderful, you're right, everyone else was wrong, and God is going to kick everybody's ass except yours, and you get to be there to say, I told you so, which is very appealing to some.
Of course.
When you find people in a compromised position, they're very subjective.
Thankfully, I was able to get my mother out. They basically gave her an ultimatum. At the age of 65, they said, you need to stop speaking with your son, or we're going to disfellowship you. So she said, well, I'm not going to stop talking to my son. I'm not going to break a relationship with my son. And she said, what's more, I see that he's left the witnesses and he's perfectly happy. And I don't see anything wrong with his life. His life is going very well, even though he left the witnesses. So I'm not going to break off a relationship with him. They said, okay, fine, we have no choice but to disfellowship. So at the age of 65, my mother got disfellowship. And she was a witness for 35 years. Everyone who she had known her whole life. Her whole adult life, pretty much, is wrapped up with the witnesses. And so she had to start her life fresh at the age of 65. So that just shows that they're a cult. If they're willing to kick a 65-year-old woman out on the street, basically, I mean.
Raspberry tart, pumpkin, and strawberry.
I think when I get
just
home,
because she refused to stop talking to her son.
To display an activity that anyone else would look at as virtuous.
Right. Well, so they actually want people to fulfill the scripture that says a lack of natural affection. They want people to do that.
Did you ever watch that?
What did you just say about always feeling like you were trying to gain your life back?
Like people would
I'm always behind.
McDonald's.
Scary.
But at least you left young. I mean, you left younger than a lot of other people.
Right.
So,
But
I don't know how old
I feel that way now.
You don't feel that way now?
No, I did. I did feel that way in my 20s, probably early 30s. But now,
How old were you when you left?
Well, it started drifting away, I guess, in my early 20s.
Okay.
And then by 25 or so, I was gone.
Yeah, I left when I was 38, basically.
And he's done a lot.
Actually, at my 38th
in
birthday
these last 2 years. Incredible.
My 38th birthday. So it's
Don't
only
you
been,
wish
it's
we
been
have
2 years.
the resolve we have now and the knowledge we have now to be able to go back and deal with them again when confronted with some question of
I envy people like Yetta who left when they were very young.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
still that mind condition.
But that's what I was saying. That
Yeah.
you can get this fellowship, but you haven't left until you actually realize that they're a bunch of baloney. So can I say bullshit in this? You can bleep it, right?
Yeah.
So until you realize that it's a fucking cult and full of bullshit, then while you're still thinking Jehovah's going to destroy me at Armageddon because I'm out drinking, out partying, having sex, or whatever you're doing, whatever normal things you might be doing, or even if you're not doing those things, you can't even enjoy life because you think Jehovah's going to kill me at Armageddon. While you're still thinking that, you're still a slave to the Jehovah's Witnesses. Sure. And so even if you've been kicked out for 10 years, I mean, I met somebody who was 50 years old and had been disfellowshipped when she was 32, and she still believed that she was going to be destroyed at Armageddon. And when she met my wife and I, and we were talking to her and helping her realize it's a bunch of baloney. You're not going to be destroyed at Armageddon because there's no such thing as Armageddon.
Right, exactly.
It was a huge relief for her to actually accept the thought, because she had never met up with any other ex-witnesses before. She was isolated and her family was shunning her.
Right.
And she had no way of knowing. She didn't go on the internet. She had no way of knowing that there was a huge community of people who had left the witnesses and who were no longer in fear of Armageddon. So, but I mean, at least you left, young enough so that. I mean, I compare myself to other people who left in their 50s and 60s and say, okay, I'm lucky too. I left, at the age of 38. I'm 40 now, and I still have plenty of my life ahead of myself so that I can do what I want. But I finally feel like at my age now, I'm finally doing what I want with my life. As opposed to most of my life was prescribed for me. This is what you're going to do. This is where you're going to live. This is what you're going to be doing with your life.
You want to tell us a little bit, because it's a little different for you. You were what class of?
I was a Bethelite, I was a special pioneer, and I was a missionary.
Yeah, he was a missionary.
Okay, I'll stop talking. She's somebody.
No, go ahead. Where did you go? What countries did you go to serving as a missionary?
I was in Ecuador and I was in Honduras.
Okay.
And I was in Brooklyn Bethel for 2.5 years too.
Okay. And how long were you an elder?
I was an elder for 7 years. I was in full-time service for 16, 17 years.
You don't have to look right now.
You have kids?
No, I don't have kids. Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Cool.
Gotta start working on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now